Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Miraculous Ladybug, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hi there.
We're back for our regular Miraculous Ladybug podcast. The topic this time is Feast and speculation on the Guardians being back at the end of the episode Feast. We have rewatched this episode. I didn't actually check with if everyone rewatched Feast, but let's assume that it happened. And we will be talking about this episode and mostly speculating on what it might mean for the upcoming seasons. Now that I think it makes a lot of sense, this topic, especially having rewatched the finale recently, because the finale changes things on where Feast ends, and now we kind of narrow in on what might be coming as a result of this episode. You can check out our initial discussion of Feast and all our other Ladybug podcasts at overlyanimated.com and search for us on your favorite podcatcher or on YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated. Okay, so we rewatched Feast and we're going to get to the speculation. But first, how was it like rewatching this episode? What was the experience like? What do you think of the episode now? And like, what kind of stood out to you on your rewatch, Delaney?
So I always like rewatching episodes because it's good to get over my initial, like, oh my god, what's going on? And, like, not that it really happens in this episode, though it's kind of stupid, with, like, them wearing costumes, was, and by stupid, I mean, like, not knowing each other's identity, because that's what I mean when this show is stupid. But, it's nice to get over that original rage. And then,
so that's always your first viewing experience.
Yes,
okay.
My first viewing experience is always being exhausted and mad. But I love this show, obviously. And I will say, I really, I think upon rewatch, like, I already knew this was a great episode, but on rewatch, I think it might be even better than I thought it was originally. Like, this episode, it's so well put together, and it's not just, like, all the mythology reveals. Like, it's just a good, heartwarming episode, honestly. Like, but there's a lot of great, like, moments between Master Fu and Marinette and Adrian and Plog, which is shocking. Like, when they play the piano together, I was just like, I am so touched. Like, it's so sweet. And
that's the scene highlight from this episode.
Yeah. And it's great. Like, so I really, like, I know Delaney's, like, praising Plog. What's going on?
You love Plog.
That's not true. Don't spread lies about me. But it's so funny when I was, like, telling my fiance, I was like, oh, I hate Plog. And she's like, what? I thought we loved Plog. He's so cute. He's a cat who eats cheese. And I'm like, dear God.
Not on the same page on that one.
Yeah. But no, I really enjoyed watching it. And it's just such a good episode.
Yeah, he's not a cat, but I guess, like, it's like...
He has cat ears? Question mark. Oh, I guess the other thing is, again, on rewatch, it was just more impressive, really, like, how much, like, this episode really, like, changed the world. Like, that was really the thing for me. It was like, this is, like, such a big episode for the series, and, like, it's like, oh my god. And we got so many answers and questions at once.
Yes, definitely got a big answer to Master Fu's big mistake, which shouldn't take for granted at this point, was one of the biggest mysteries kind of heading into that episode.
Like, the show, like, they like to tell us things, and they like to, like, make stuff up and then confuse you. And they also like to be like, look, we know you know who Hawkmoth is, but Adrian and Marinette are stupid. But it's tiny little things, but, you know, we see Master Fu drop the peacock and the butterfly, and then we see, and, like, that's how he lost them. And then we even have Gabriel talking about that's from the same area where we found the Miraculouses. So, you know, stuff like that really, you know, I mean, that's, like, that comes full circle. Like, that's really, I mean, that's, like, literally the origins of Hawkmoth becoming Hawkmoth.
Yeah, that's true. And that's definitely in this episode, not even maybe one of the top few things happening. But yeah, that's
because it's hard to absorb everything when you watch this episode the first time, and also because the show is, like, nutty. You don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, we'll dive into a little bit more. April, what did you think of watching Feast again?
So, I agree with Delaney. Like, there's always like that initial like shock, and whenever like we first watch episodes, just because they're so insane. But I really enjoyed like rewatching this episode because there was like a lot of like, I guess, like funny things that I kind of missed, and like without, or what is it, while I was so shocked the first time, there we go, and just like blinded by, you know, other things. So, but I agree with Delaney that there's definitely like, there's so much like mythology in this episode, and like there's just a lot going on, like, and you know, like we have really good moments like with Adrian and Plog, obviously. I really like appreciated the moments between Master Fu and Marinette this time around, especially after watching the finale, like, because like he really does like care about her.
Oh, and he's like, I'm never gonna leave you, and I'm
yeah,
like,
I know, right? Like whenever he said that, I was like, oh, like my heart just broke a little bit. Especially because like it's interesting because like he, at the end of it all, like he doesn't remember them, but then like he took back the Miraculouses, but they still remembered. So that part was a little bit weird, but like it was, I agree, like it was a lot, like it's a really good episode for sure. So especially because we do get all of that mythology, and like it all makes sense too. Like it's not like they gave us a bunch of information and I was sitting there like, wait a second, didn't you say no? Like none of that happened for me, which I like.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. This is a lot going on in Feast. I think it was an important one to rewatch because I forgot. I mean, I didn't like forget that these things existed, but there's just so much here. Not all of them were top of mind. And it's good to refresh on the big episodes of the season, I think. And I do think this is like a good one after the finale. It's kind of like the direct predecessor to the finale, I would say. It's I think the beginning of this episode's really good. I love the flashback. I love getting everything explained. The flashback has a lot of hedges, a lot of things that are the stories. Like I don't know if the story ties together super neatly, but it does make sense. I agree with that. I don't think Feast is like, for me, I don't think Feast is like one of the best episodes of the show, but it is very good. Like I think if we do top 10, I don't think I'll consider Feast just because there's so much happening. Like it was a little much for me. But it is exciting, of course. And then like the chase stuff. I think the chase stuff, like I like the beginning of the episode more than the end. Like I like the flashbacks. Then the Banana Noir chase, I think, is not as good.
Banana Noir is enough.
Is
enough to catapult this episode.
Okay,
into
yeah,
top 10.
it's fair. It's fair. There's 2 Banana Noir episodes, right? And then so maybe they're both top 10 material. And then the ending is very good. So overall, it's like good. And it just feels really significant. I wonder if this episode will be worse if they don't follow up on it, which I could see. We'll get into that discussion. That's kind of the main thing we want to talk about here. But if this is like a major predecessor to season 4, I think that's going to be really good. But yeah, this is still like one of the biggest episodes of the show. Think that's reinforced by rewatching it, so I'd recommend that because there is a lot that you get after the finale. All of this is like the big Master Fu episode, and then the finale is the conclusion to the Master Fu arc, and this is, I guess, maybe the climax, or setting up the climax of what we're doing with him. I don't know. It's interesting. Like when I'm rewatching episodes, I feel like my opinion of whether they're great or not is like, is it too busy? Is it not busy enough? Like Ladybug is like more than any other show we cover. Like Ladybug has so much going on in it every episode.
It is. I mean, it's crazy all the time. I do want to say the thing is, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't like rereading books. I don't like rewatching shows unless, I mean, I've rewatched Avatar and Korra like an embarrassing amount of times. So maybe that's not strictly true. But, like, you can't really binge Ladybug because you'll want to, like, claw your eyeballs out of your skull. But I do say, I definitely, every time we do a Ladybug rewatch, I always just appreciate the episode more. Because it's, like, we love reacting to Ladybug because Ladybug is, like, ridiculous. It is the most absurd thing ever, and we love it. But it's also, like, nice to reflect on a lot of these Season 3 episodes. It's like, man, this episode's so good. Would I have said that of any Season 1 episode? No.
Yeah, it's I'm really impressed by the animation on the flashback. I think that's
Oh, it's so cool. It's so, and like, you know, we get a lot of stuff like that, but it's usually like this dumb. No, I'm not saying dumb and like it look like it's done purposefully, but you know, it's like Marinette's thoughts.
Usually the different animation styles are about Marinette's like,
and it's a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah.
This was, I think, definitely something we all love stuff like this. Like, I love when they're like flashback and we're like different animation. I'm like, yes, sign me up. Like, it's the best in any show. It's so good. And so it's really nice to get that in, what a quote unquote less serious show.
Yeah. I think like this episode has, and like the lot going on, not a lot going on. This episode is doing a lot with, like it's deservedly fast paced because this is a big aspect of the show that I think they're trying to fit into this one episode. And this episode functions as kind of a standalone because the show isn't serialized at this point to a large extent. And
which I think they do a good job of it. Like,
right. I think they do as good as they can in their format, but it would be nice for Feast to not have like 15 episodes before it's followed up on. And
right.
It would also be nice if this were like a two-parter, I feel like this is enough material for two episodes.
Well, it sucks. One, it sucks because we know Master Fu loses his memories and we're like, he's never going to go visit the monks. Granted, it also depends on like how much he remembers, I think.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of those like unsure. But then also like I think they do, the monks, they came back. Well, they're all the way in the Tibet. So like it's one of those like this is I think more of the more well done continuity things that they've like accomplished.
We'll get into that. April, what other parts of the episode stand out, or any comments on like what's the Master Fu stuff after seeing the finale? Was it like a lot more tragic?
A little, yeah, it was just because like what happens and I already kind of said it though that it was kind of like those scenes between like him and Marinette, and especially like at the end of the episode when he's like, I'll never leave you, like I'll just go.
I was mad.
Like it hurts, like because Marinette sort of depends on him a lot, and in the way that he leaves, because he's like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna train you to be a guardian, but then like he never like we don't ever really see him getting to do that, and that's not to say that he doesn't like train.
And then she becomes the guardian under duress.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a like a big like I mean it was big and momentous, but not in like the like I'm so proud of you, you've graduated guardian school like kind of like sense. It was more done so in like a panic state. So like it's hard to kind of see because Master Fu's not ever a terrible character. Like so yeah, and I honestly think that like after the finale, like we probably won't see him again, and if we do, it's going to be really interesting. So I just hope that maybe he gets to go visit them with his sweet lady friend.
Please.
Yeah,
introduce himself.
Even if they're just in Shanghai and he's just there for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is the Shanghai special going to tie into what's going on here? It's a good.
That's the other thing too. Like, it's also the serialization sucks just because like the non-serialization sucks, and that like not only the training, but like he's like you're a fully fledged ladybug now. Well, we don't even get to enjoy that because like we don't nothing gets any time to breathe or like.
Yeah, I think given their constraints, you see what the season was doing, like with that, and then following up on it in the finale, and then I feel like there's another episode or two about the ladybug, but this was the main one, the fully fledged ladybug, and I think it's like successful with what they're doing, and I feel like season 3. This is another topic. I feel like this season pushes the limits of their format. Next season has to be strictly serialized if they're going to do more of this stuff. I don't know how they can do any more than what they did here. It already aired out of order for large parts. They got a little lucky that nothing super major aired out of order. But like I'm skeptical of them doing more than what they did here, considering like Feast is like a good example of that because it's just this big episode of the show, and not directly connecting to anything that's happening. Which I don't know. So like, we can start to get into the speculation. Does this feel weird that Feast isn't immediately followed up on? At the end of Feast, to the temple is back after 172 years. All the monks are back. Presumably the miraculous boxes are back. I don't think that's exactly said.
Right. That's what I think. Obviously I'm happy the monks are back. Like for the world of Ladybug, that is the biggest impact, is that there are more miraculouses.
Yeah.
And this also answers the big question about like why, because we've discussed the universe before, and then to be like, oh, they only showed up a couple months ago. Well, what was going on? Well, it's because it was just this old man with some magic stuff, and because I think that would also give credence to, like, I don't know. It's just, to me, that's the biggest impact. And like, I don't know. What if a guardian shows up and tries to take it from Ladybug?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is like, does it make sense that they're not immediately contacting them, or that the monks aren't immediately that Fu's not talking to them, they're not talking to Fu? Is this a bigger news story? Like, does all of that track on its own? Maybe.
I mean, in the broad. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think, because you just brought it up, I think that's just, it's so interesting that they don't like meet up with the other like guardians or attempt to right away. You know what I mean? Like,
Fu says like, one day I'll go and see them again.
Yeah, like very casually. Yeah. Like, does that mean like? Well, and the other thing too is like, why are they also not searching for him? Right. Well, because they know that he like left. So, and obviously they all live, to be 1 million. So why, like,
obviously.
But like, there's no reason for the other monks to believe that Fu is also dead. Right. So,
yeah, I mean, the story, they threw the box to him, so they should look for him. So,
also for them, there hasn't been any time passed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, probably. How does that work? I don't know, but
who knows?
I think them not finding Fu, like Fu's, his identity is a secret. He changed his name. That tracks. What doesn't make sense is Ladybug and Cat are known heroes in the world. There's news reports about them.
Yeah,
they should seek that out. That should be worldwide news.
Well, Grant, I think that could be one of the, like, I could see someone showing up in season 4 and being like, so we came to find, like, we know about you, and we know about the miraculous box because we gave it to him. Where is he? And like having to deal with that, but I don't.
Well, so, okay, I think it also, okay, now that I'm thinking about it more, it makes a little bit more sense that they haven't gone looking for Fu yet, or they aren't aware of, like, Ladybug and Cat Noir, because if it was, like, 200 years ago that they existed, and now they're suddenly back, like, they don't have technology. So
I was going to say that, like, first they need to figure out how their internet works.
Yeah, like,
well, that's the other thing. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Time, electricity first. Like,
yeah.
And they need to catch up on the world. I think that's valid. It's like they're getting on their feet.
Like they're being like this.
Like, it's mildly ridiculous that somehow they already had a helicopter and they were like, "Look what we found." But
yeah, how did they find that? I guess Google Maps changed. Is that how they found it?
Maybe
because you would assume that was in a remote part of Tibet anyway. It looks like it's on top of a mountain.
Well, okay, but also it wouldn't have to be that remote, because but Gabriel, like, he went to Tibet, and that's where he got the peacock and the butterfly. So can't be.
So we know about that now.
Yeah, so it can't be that remote, because
maybe he was the first person to find it because it is remote. Maybe that's I feel like that's a rich person thing. Go to Tibet.
Definitely. Also, I feel like he was also, granted, depending versus like he also, so like there's two ideas. He either bought it from someone or he did find them himself. And I think that he so now they have a copy of the Guardians book, but before that, he must have like read something somewhere, or like it's hard for me to imagine like he just found this and then became Hawkmoth the way that Ladybug did, because he didn't have a guardian, like, and he wasn't like.
Yeah, how did he, like, the book's not translated, so I guess he had the Miraculous, when in Oblivio, they have their things, they don't know how to activate it, because they have no memory.
Like, so, how did he, like, how does he know how to activate it? Like, I'm assuming he had some sort of, like, he knew something before, like, he had some sort of information that made him seek these out. But then there's also, like, they weren't superheroes, right? Because...
No.
Like, what were they doing?
Who? Gabriel and...
Yeah, like, what were they doing with the Miraculouses if they weren't superheroes?
So this episode is, like, references the Hawkmoth backstory, but we don't get the full picture of it.
Right.
And, presumably the first episode is, or, like, right before the first episode of Ladybug's the first time they're doing stuff with the Miraculouses? I don't know.
And on top of that, this is the first actual confirmation that
the origins.
Well, not just that, but that the Peacock made Adrian's mom sick.
Yeah, because did we talk about that in that podcast? Probably. Natalie being sick is
because obviously she had shown being sick before, but Adrian being like, my mom used to be like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's
what I was referring to.
But So I think like the logic of this episode ties the universe together better than we'd known before, because it's like, okay, why there haven't been Ladybug and cats in a while? Why? Well, first of all, we didn't necessarily know there hadn't been in so long, and then we learn why, and we learn why there's all these other heroes and why these specific Miraculouses are in play. And it's kind of like a long time coming. It's a lot, and I feel like some of the stuff doesn't track super well for me. But I think it gets us to this place, and now they're all like, and now they're all back, and okay, maybe they don't show up right. Oh, I was gonna say, I think a good episode 1 reveal would be like, we've been watching you since we came back.
Ooh,
that's what I was kind of thinking.
We were gonna step in the finale. We're about to step in, and we didn't. Something like that.
Yeah, something like
figured out the internet.
I think also like, the idea of Ladybug being a guardian, like seeing what.
Yeah.
What if she gets to go to guardian school?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, and there's a whole sub theme in this episode about anti-disciplinarian thematics, which I think is not handled with a lot of depth. I would say.
Oh no.
No, not at all.
I would be more respectful to traditions, like the Tibetan traditions or whatever. But it's they don't, not a lot of time for a lot of things. They will Marinette want to, now that she's the guardian, what's she gonna do? So in the episode, Fu says I'm gonna go visit them one day. Tragic, because he never gets to, presumably, unless he did it, and that's a reveal that he did it behind our back or something. But presumably he didn't. Now Marinette heard him say that. Well, she want to go visit them now that she's the guardian. Like, I think there's a lot of ramifications of Marinette being the guardian potentially. Once we get past the initial, does she get to know who Cat is, which is probably no. I feel like the next biggest question is, what's she going to do about the situation with the new Guardians? I could see the new season immediately addressing this.
What if something happens? So I don't know what this is going to be, but something horrible happens, and Marinette Lucky Charms, and it's like the symbol, and she's like, she knows she can't go to Master Fu, so she's like, I have to seek them out.
Usually, this is a good point. A shocking amount of her Lucky Charms are useless and just tell her to go to Fu, right?
Exactly.
Now that he's not there, will she get a thing to go to Tibet? Yeah, that's true. It's like, I'm going to hop on this plane.
She gets a map.
Is that, and she uses Max's Miraculous to go through space to get there or something? I don't know. Can they teleport? Like, she can probably find a way to teleport. But That's a whole nother. Okay, that's another thing. But
no. What's more understandable is that Max's mom, the astronaut, just picks her up and flies her.
Yeah.
She's
like, I got this.
I just got my astronaut's license. Yeah, exactly.
I'm still not over the astronaut suit being delivered. Like that's a thing that happens.
That's not this episode. What are you talking about?
But still,
I love this stupid show.
I think Marinette, like, having to make a decision on what to do about the Guardians being, I feel like that's top of the list for the new season, because I feel like this episode's big. It introduces this major thing. Why aren't we dressing right away? Other than the constraints of the show, we're making this major development at the end of the season, so that Fu's out of the picture and
this is the
stepping
season
up.
where like we pass out all the Miraculouses and like we really start like this. The Guardians are the thing. Like, and Marinette becoming the Guardian is that like this has to be it. We found our plot thread, guys.
We found it.
I like. Oh, honestly, I could see this being like the main plot of the premiere.
Right.
I don't think. I guess like it doesn't have to be, but like, what else are we going to focus on other than? I mean, it's weird to think about it this way because we did ignore this for a few. I think this episode aired closer to the finale than it was meant to, but like we ignored it for about 15 episodes or something in the order. But now that I feel like Marinette becoming the Guardian is the big thing, and so it's like, what are the things to do? And so now she maybe wants to talk to them, catch them up. But it's you know, like it's hard to imagine that playing a big part in the show, though. It's once Marinette makes contact with them, doesn't everything change? Like once like Hawkmoth makes a wish, like we're waiting for these major events to happen that would change it, and the show's not necessarily interested in doing like an identity reveal, right? Would this be on that level of thing that might really change the structure of the show?
Well, it feels like it's so weird because again, it's hard because the show is not serialized right now. But like the fact that Master Fu is gone, like
as we talked about, that's the biggest thing that's happened on the show,
right? And obviously, like Master Fu does not play a big part in the beginning of the show, really. But then, like in season 2 and season 3, he becomes like you said, like she gets some useless item and she has to go talk to him.
He becomes like more of a regular character.
Right. Like we'll see him we have there's something dumb going on and she has to go to he's selling hot dogs over here. I have to go talk to Master Fu. Like it's ridiculous. And so I think, I don't know, because it's hard to imagine what they could do, which I don't think would either we go serialized or we just go literally back to season 1 because if she doesn't need to go see Master Fu, it's
yeah,
because she has no one to talk to.
I think the progression of the Fu stuff is the show doing its version of heavy serialization, and we should say the show is serialized to an extent. We're just referring to strict serialization that it's not doing, and it's not. I think that the show is purposely building that up to this moment at the end of season 3 with Master Fu leaving. Now, I've been always impressed with how the show in seasons 2 and 3 is handled. Not having to having the possibility of episodes airing out of order yet still progressing the plot. I think that's a big underrated aspect of Ladybug that they can kind of successfully move the plot along in this format. But yeah, I think that they building that up, and we're the only you don't go back on that. You keep going. I feel like
right.
We can only go forward at this point.
Well, it's also it changes the whole concept of the Lucky Charm too, because we've been complaining since day 1 that Lucky Charm just resets everything. Well, this time Lucky Charm it fixed something that we didn't know was broken, and the applications of that, in this case, Lucky Charm changed the world as opposed to using the Lucky Charm to just make everything the same as it was right before it happened.
Yeah, was it the magic ladybugs that brought them back, or was it just the...
I thought it was because they were released from Feast.
The logic of the being... I don't know how to get into inside a magic dimension inside Feast.
Yeah, it's confusing.
But they're
and
back.
Of course, the only way to defeat it was Ladybug anyway, so I don't know.
April, is there any chance that the show will just not touch on the monks being back again?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
No, that's a big chance.
There's always a chance.
There's always a chance, yeah. And the other thing, okay, so I think that if like we touch on the monks again, the only way that it's going to be able to happen is if they seek her out. And because like Marinette's 14 years old. Like, I mean, I guess, yeah, like we're supposedly having a Shanghai episode or whatever, but Tibet and Shanghai are not the same place. And then there's the New York episode, and those are even further away. So, so I feel like if they're going to do it, like the monks are going to just like show up at her doorstep one day and be like, hey, so we hear you're the new guardian via monk magic. And she's like, yeah, but part of me doesn't feel like they have any interest in making that happen, you know, like.
So I agree that them coming to her has got to be just because the format of the show is in Paris. I mean, I think Marinette would think of seeking them out now, but yeah, she probably doesn't have the means to.
Yeah,
unless she uses the superpowers somehow. But like the show takes place there, and so they'd come to her. I mean, why would they want to seek them out? Just because they've one of their boxes is missing. It's a major thing in the world with the things they're supposed to be keeping track of. Like once they learn about that, they got to go and see what the situation is. Like one of the Miraculouses is being used for evil. That's not the intended purpose of the Miraculous of those two Miraculouses, right? They gotta go correct that.
Yeah, because it's not just one Miraculous, like it's two Miraculous, and technically they're missing all of those Miraculous.
They're missing all of them, and maybe if a guardian in Paris had them under control, but like this is not under control. I mean, like they fix things every time, but this is we have to remember it's not the intended purpose. So,
also, do they normally pick their heroes as children?
So here's let's talk about the normal state of operations in. The order of the Miraculous, because I'm kind of unclear on how most things work. We knew nothing before this episode,
right?
And now we know a little bit, but we don't know most things.
We know like 5%.
So there's more miracle boxes. So
but we don't know how many. Like, are there just a million Miraculouses?
I assume there's like 50 max. There's got to be boxes.
I thought there was like 3, because they show like very specifically like 3 boxes. Yeah. So there's either 3 more or there's 2 more.
Okay.
Right.
It can't be a crazy number. Yeah.
Yeah. It has to be a manageable number, obviously. Like 2 or 3. Yes.
So the monks are back and the temple's back. So we don't know for sure if the other boxes are back. I don't see how it makes sense that they're not. If everything inside Feast came back, I don't see why they'd be gone.
Because Feast ate them.
Yeah,
so.
Right. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. So, and he did that.
I think they got to be back. And so here's a random question I had, which is I was like, oh, am I dumb and I don't know the answer, or is the show not explained it yet? Do the other boxes contain the same Miraculouses? Are they copies of the Miraculouses in our box? Or are they all different?
I'm real messed up. Why did you say that?
Are there multiple ladybugs and cats, or is this the only ladybug and cat Miraculous?
Okay, now I'm like real messed up, because when you think about it, like,
I tried to go to the Wikia to research, and I could not find an answer yet.
I am really upset how you just fundamentally changed my understanding of the world.
I feel like if they were like exact copies, then the little book thing would have that information, right?
They do have a manual in the Miraculous, yeah.
So, Gabriel has that manual. So
they have the grimoire, and then like in Oblivio, it's like check the manual in your yo-yo. So they also have some kind of like, but yeah, the grimoire would definitely contain it.
Definitely. I feel like it would have that information, or at least enough information to allude that there, is like how many different ones there are. So if anything, if there was exact copies, like Gabriel could just go to Tibet and just go get those Miraculouses. Like, no big deal, right?
Well, they're inside Feast, right? The Feast ate out,
yeah, but now that they're not.
Now, okay, I think this is a separate good point. Why is Gabriel not interested in going and checking out the monks that came back?
Yeah,
he should be doing. He's the means to immediately fly there.
So in this case.
Which is why I don't think that they're like
they're copies.
that they're copies.
Wouldn't he be interested in any Miraculous? I mean, I guess he specifically needs to, right?
Okay, so let's talk about like the scenario then. If it's not copies, then which this makes sense. It's a TV show that the box that Master Fu has is the most important box. This makes sense. Given that
only because but the flashback, it's like they threw me the last box. It wasn't like the most important box.
Oh no, I know, but like it could have been on accident. Like you know what I mean? Like
and
so
it's like, why does one box just contain the Magic Wish Miraculous?
So in that case, based on this, like this is dumb, but like the box it's a very special box and it has a very special structure to it. Does this imply that the other boxes also have two powerful but different Miraculouses? Or are they just regular and just this one's special?
That's true. There could be other different Miraculouses that also you can make a wish from. In which case, Gabriel should go seek it out. But he might not know or something.
Well, no, he would still have that information available.
He can't. He has the book, but he doesn't. Or it's not translated, right? He got.
But they got it on the tablet.
They got the copy, right? So, but that hasn't happened yet. That was where we left off. So maybe now he knows, and he's like, I got to go to Tibet. I feel like just seeing the news report that they're back, he should be like, I'm going. At least send Holodad to check it out. Am I right?
Yes.
This is a perfect mission for Holodad.
It really is.
Like, perfect mission for Holodad.
He doesn't want to leave his house. We can all relate right now, Gabriel. This is the perfect time for you.
Holodad.
But just send Holodad, right? Like, Holodad doesn't have to abide by quarantine laws, I assume.
Yeah.
But maybe he's so realistic he'd get pulled over.
He already sends Natalie everywhere. I mean,
yeah, well, Natalie, that's the bad part. Natalie's not quarantined. Anyway,
she's already sick. Okay,
you
leave her alone.
No, she's the most vulnerable. So you can't. Don't.
Okay, I want you to know that during coronavirus, he would send Natalie out in a hazmat suit.
Yeah,
and I think I already made this joke. But the iPad is also in a hazmat suit.
I think you did make that
with
joke.
A mask on it.
Yeah, because it's the best joke, and it's absolutely what the show would do.
The best? That's a bold claim. Okay, but anyway, so Gabriel could now seek them out. Did they translate the whole thing or just the page? Did he just get a page, or does it? It was everything.
I thought how I understood it was that it was the entire grimoire.
And at the end, he's like, "I fixed the peacock," right? Like,
right?
Yeah. Okay, but if he reads more, maybe he just doesn't like it. If he reads more, like sit down and read a book.
He's waiting for Natalie to read it.
Okay, and then Natalie gives him the clip. Natalie gives a book report to him.
He is so single-minded that like he might really just like all that matters is getting their Miraculouses.
Yeah.
A bold claim. I think all of the miracle boxes are copies of our miracle box. I think that's very possible in the mythology of the show. Here's one.
But to have multiple ladybugs, though.
So that's my first primary presenting evidence. Here's number one. The beginning of this episode, Alia's like, I've done my research. Here's an app that I made to show how the art originated, which is the stupidest thing this episode. And
I think it's great.
I
don't know how she made that up, but I think it's got to be anyway. Okay, I don't want to get sidetracked. Here's all the ladybugs throughout history. Like either this miracle box went from place to place to place because these are all not in the same, or there's multiple miracle boxes, multiple ladybugs and cat noirs. Maybe at once there were. That's possible. I don't think we've seen anything contradictory. And the alternative is that this miracle box had to have been passed throughout history, a lot of different places, which is possible. But I think seemingly less likely than being a lot of them.
So I think like my guess because it just seems so irresponsible to have multiple like wish miraculouses.
Who's irresponsible? Who are you blaming for this?
The monks.
I don't think the monks did not make them though. The thing that we have to
it doesn't matter. You can't have two gods, okay? It doesn't work like that. There can only be one tiki.
It's a very monotheistic state of mind, April.
But
we have proven that, like, I mean, in their own mythology, there's like Ladybug, Cat Noir, and the rest of the gremlins.
Yeah, and I think like so. My theory is that there's a bunch of other ones, but their powers aren't. I mean, obviously their powers aren't the same, but they're not as strong, and so like obviously like. Ladybug and Cat Noir are going to be featured throughout history because, like, they're always, like, the superheroes because of how powerful, like, their magic is or whatever. But, like, the other ones are just like, oh, I'm the simple, like, bucket one. I can be a bucket and you can carry me. Like, that doesn't make news, you know? Like, you don't write about, like, small, tiny, everyday acts. Like,
I think the joke about the Lion Miraculous is a hint that we're getting a Lion Miraculous.
Yeah, it's like, that doesn't sound stupid. We could easily have a Lion Miraculous, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it's from another box.
So it's like we'd hear about the ladybugs and cats. That's why we know they're... Yeah, I mean, it's plausible that there's only one ladybug and cat, but imagine if there's multiple.
Well, and, I can't handle that.
Yeah.
But, like, there's also, like, I talk about Assassin's Creed so much. It's ridiculous how, like, relevant Assassin's Creed is. But in Assassin's Creed, you have the Templars versus the Assassins, and, like, they've evolved as different organizations, and so in the modern day, the Templars are like this like super rich like pharmaceutical company and technology company, like, you know, like a giant conglomerate. Well, it would make sense that like I don't think the Guardians were always necessarily Tibetan monks. Like, I think like there's a very good chance that they've existed throughout history in different forms.
Okay, so you think the Guardians are like a secret society? That is,
and I think at the time, it made sense for them to be monks. Like, whenever all of the feast stuff went down.
Okay, or that is like the origin of, like, you know, it originated here, and so we...
there's a lot of things right now. Why would the Tibetan monks control these boxes which originated... I don't think we've said on the show, but we know the God, it was originated from the creation of the universe. So why do they control these things? Yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those again, it's dumb. In Assassin's Creed, we trace the history all the way back to like ancient Egypt, all the way through the modern day. So it's more like this evolution of like it just has always existed in different forms. And so, like, but there's always different branches. Like, you can have there are different brotherhoods in different places. So, like, granted, I'm not sure how I feel about there being more Miraculouses, because we'd know about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes sense that we didn't know about these because they were gone.
So
they maybe always could have been, like, maybe they weren't always Tibetan monks, but they were always there.
Yeah. Possible. That being said, from a story perspective...
They evolve with time.
Right. Okay. But Tibetan monks. So the thing is, Tibetan monks super old. If you like, knowing history, like not actually like the oldest thing in human history, but from a story perspective, like it's been always Tibetan monks because there's all been monks in Tibet. I think it's like, they found them and it's always been there. I feel like that's why you'd put them there, is because they've just always found them.
Or like the Kwame found the first person and was like, maybe it was kind of one of these like. It's hard, like, we know at least Plog is very dangerous on his own.
Yeah.
And so, someone found them, and they were like, these are extremely powerful objects. They need, again, like Assassin's Creed and the Apples of Eden and, like, ultimate destruction power. That's why they're, like, Templars...
I'm not following the references, but it's okay. I thought of the best counterpoint to my theory on there being multiple ladybugs, which is... Ladybug is Tiki, and Tiki is an individual. Like, there'd have to be multiple Tikis, or there'd have to be a different Tiki that controlled a different Ladybug. So I don't think there's copies of Tiki.
Right.
So I think I'm out on that. There could easily just be a different Ladybug controlled by a different Kwame, but I feel like the show has hammered into us. Ladybug is Tiki.
Well, super, like, they become, like, they are, like, it's like fusion in Steven Universe, like.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
I guess Marinette fuses with Tiki to become Ladybug. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Why have we not brought up this concept before?
Right.
But I feel like I need to be convinced why they happened to save the one with the two oldest gods in them. But probably that's the setup. And then the rest of them, there's just other heroes that we'll meet. So this is just a vehicle to like 200 more superheroes beyond our 50 currently.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the most likely. So will we get into this next season? Like, will we meet a hero from a different box?
I know this sounds kind of annoying, but it's also the perfect setup for their Zag crossovers.
Well, yeah, I think that's, like they're trying to make a universe. I feel like you get infinite heroes in these other boxes, sure. I think that's the... But
I mean, I do think, like, the Guardian thing, like, this is... again, we're in uncharted territory, so it's hard not to expect more.
Yeah, maybe Marinette meets her counterpart. There's another guardian that comes into play.
Right.
Or maybe it's another cute boy that's a rival.
Oh, God. No, or cute girl, question mark.
That's a rival. Yeah, there you go.
Will Delaney jump off the Alya ship? No, but...
Kagami? I feel like that's the modern Kagami.
That's also a contender.
Kagami, she had a miraculous. She'd be a good guardian.
Also, Kagami's mom
all you the guardian? Okay, anyway. I don't know if we're just handing out guardianships.
They're going through the news. Obviously, we should see Adrian, we should see Gabriel, but then we see Kagami's mom and Kagami, and I'm like, Kagami's mom knows something. They always pan over her when something crazy happens.
Yeah, I think they are setting up a reveal with Kagami's mom. So yeah, she could know, she could be a descendant or
maybe she's the source. Ooh. She's why Gabriel knows all this stuff.
Yeah, they've talked in the past. Yeah, if he's consulted with anyone about it beyond Natalie and Emily, it would be her, Kagami's mom. But we're waiting for something there. I guess that why I think the Guardians have to come into play unless you're just going to ignore this plot, which you could do. I mean, you shouldn't, but you could do that. You don't need.
They will,
and they will probably, but they don't need to open up another box. You could have the Guardians back, and they're like, we don't want to screw this up beyond what's right. We don't need to open another box.
It's bad enough you're 14 and running around Paris.
Really, they should say, we're going to take these away from you. We don't want I don't know what this, you know why the Master Fu gave it to you? It's because he only got training up to 10 years old. We would have taught him, don't give it to children.
Right? If he had finished his training, he would know better, but clearly...
I mean, that could be a plot, is they come take it away from Marinette and she has to prove herself to get the guardianship.
Or that's how this all ends.
And then the show's just over. They take it back. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, hey, yo, so we just figured out the internet and you've been running around with our stuff. So give it back.
I mean, that would be a good ending to the show, and then Marinette and Adrian can live normal, happy life together. But the tragic thing of Marinette being the guardian is she can't get away from this, right? This is
right.
You lose your memory or you stay the guardian. So there has to be an intervention here somehow if we want Marinette to get out of this.
Yeah.
We also saw adult Ladybug and Cat Noir once, and we didn't see them, but they were part of that episode.
For 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Time can be rewritten.
Yeah.
Always.
So that could have been a different timeline. Thank you, Bunix. Yeah.
Thank you, Bunix, for messing up time in the show.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of possibilities here. Delaney, what's your let's end on what's your prediction, and what would you be most excited about with the scenario, with the monks being back, the different heroes in play, maybe? Yeah.
Okay, I know it's kind of dumb, but honestly, I'm kind of we've been talking, and I'm actually really it's just hard to know what to expect. But I think actually right now I'm more interested in the Kagami's mom angle. What does she know?
Tangentially related to this topic, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel I really do she's important, but no, I guess
she could easily tie into this.
Right? It's just I don't know. It's so hard. There's just so much for this. I guess the most exciting thing would be if we went to Tibet.
Yeah.
Just to literally go there. Just to be somewhere that isn't Paris for longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, for the record, I don't think they're explicitly Tibetan monks, but I don't think the show has said that, but clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be exciting. Presumably we'd know about it because Zag would announce the special, they can't, they just made a deal to air Ladybug in China in the past year. So they're not going to say Tibet in the show. That's sad. Yeah. April, what most excited, most realistic?
I'm most excited about the idea of Marinette going to Tibet, obviously, or going to visit the other monks. I think that would be really cool, just to have her have that moment, I guess, and learning even more, because she's obviously very interested in everything about the Miraculouses. So I think it would make very much sense for her to go visit. Do I think that that's going to happen? No. I don't even know that we'll ever even talk about them again. So not too confident in that.
Yeah, I like, it's easy to say like the show never does anything, so this won't be followed up on, and it wasn't followed up on for 15 episodes. I think I always come across naive with Ladybug progression, but like they gotta bring the monks in. I think they're gonna come into play.
I think it would be a really, like, if we could like serialize and like focus down, I think it would be a really, really cool thing that would help them do that. So,
yeah, it would be, like if they were gonna dive deeper into the plot to the serialization, next season, which they could. We don't know that they're not yet. I think that this would be a easy plot line to start with and a thing that could recur throughout the rest of the show. I think the monks will show up and come to Paris in some capacity. I think they have to address this, but. I definitely
like the we've been watching. Like
I really like the start to the next season with that. Yeah, but I totally think they totally could not come up again. This totally could just not come up.
Yeah,
which would suck. I'd be most excited with I think like who's the other guardians, like, and how this relates to Marinette as the guardian. I feel like that's what's most exciting. Is like, what does this mean for her as the guardian? Does she have like training? Does she have like because she's very alone in the current structure, so she needs like coworkers, like in this, like she needs to bring someone in here. Yeah, like it would be great to bring Kat in, but in absence of that, maybe bring some of these monks in.
Ooh. Yeah. Or like that could be the emergency. Like Kat's gone, and so she has to go find the monks.
Yeah, which it's just hard to see the show changing, like having Marinette go somewhere or something. But
like when they were in London for 30 seconds.
There's so much reason for her to, like, I honestly think the most logical thing of her becoming the Guardian is the first thing she thinks is, I'm going to figure out a way to get to see the monks to talk to them.
Yeah. And the other thing that makes this even harder for her too is because she doesn't know who Kat is. And like, I think that's something that like having Master Fu be, even though he was, I guess, like the middleman between them, like it was still good for her to have someone who could at least like communicate, you know.
Well, they'll never defeat Hawkmoth without having a plan.
Yeah. Like, and so like she's really, like she's even more so alone than I think even we realize. Just because like she needs to know, like, what if she needs to get like Cat Noir's Miraculous back for whatever reason and like run away and hide? How is she going to do that? She can't.
And like go ahead.
From like a character, I mean, I'm thinking about this from like a character perspective with Marinette, like, but it's like, yeah, I think it makes sense for her. She's like down with the romance stuff at the end of the season, seeking solace in Luca, but not fully. And not fully with Kat either. So it's like, I think like needs someone after Fu is gone is a good like character angle to approach. So like that also makes sense for me for her to seek out the monks or at least seek out someone. Yeah.
Like she needs someone, or plot twist, Kagami's mom reaches out to her and is like,
that could be the Insidious. She could try to swoop in or something.
Ooh.
I mean, they don't know that she's Ladybug, but maybe she finds Ladybug when she's on a mission or something, and she tries to reach out to Ladybug.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. Okay. So.
Or they do something terrible, like because she's blind, she knows.
Ooh. She can sense it. She's like,
don't mysticize this. That's not good.
She's
but,
like, sniff,
well, I know. I literally.
You're a guardian.
The stupid dumb face magic doesn't work on her.
I don't know how to respond to that because the magic makes no sense originally, but you're right that anything is possible.
Like, I mean, that is the infuriating thing I could see this show doing.
Then it's like there's no other blind people in Paris. I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is, I think, one of the most exciting potential plot threads, but it's weird because it totally could not be a future plot thread. But if it comes into play, this is like I would say this is the most interesting mythology thing. Like, I mean, we're also interested in like what Gabriel's trying to do and stuff, and you know, is Cat a Sentimonster? And by the way, this episode's framed around Sentimonsters and stuff. It's a big backbone of the Adrian's a Sentimonster theory, this episode.
Oh no, guys! I just thought of a hole in the Sentimonster theory.
Yes.
Oh no, JK, it's fine. Because if Natalie knew, because she got that headache when she sensed the amok. But if she knows Adrian's a Sentimonster, it wouldn't matter. Never mind.
Yeah. It wouldn't matter.
Right. She could know. Yeah.
So
she should sense it. She should sense Adrian. She would have to know. It's a good point, but she could know. She's in on most things.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Let us know what your speculation is as well in the Guardians. That's a good topic. Could see us revisiting this in some form, but that was long, so we'll try to speed through the rest of our Ladybug updates in the Ladybug universe here. But I don't want to do Thomas's Tweets Corner every podcast,
but he makes it so easy.
He keeps tweeting stupid things, so we have to talk about this one tweet, the first one on the list here. I don't think we'll want to dive into this as much as we could. This could be a whole podcast. But here's this tweet from Thomas on March 24th. Currently under spam attack from fans with hashtag Justice for Chloe B, involving a lot of insults while I'm working myself to death in order for the show not to suffer from quarantine. They don't even realize they're displaying the same toxic behavior as Chloe's. Oh, the irony. So this is the thing on Thomas's Twitter recently is he's like, people are tweeting at him like, you did Chloe dirty in the finale. And he's like, what are you talking about? She's evil. And they're like, what? Chloe's not evil. So that's basically the backstory for this. That's a lot of this on time. And so now he's like, I've had it with this hashtag. The thing with this tweet is he uses the hashtag and he's like, I'm under spam attacks, a lot of insults. Like Thomas's tweets is like 20% sarcasm. Like, which is a weird ratio, and 80% he's like really actually annoyed.
Yeah, it's a weird ratio.
Like,
and it's
hard
like to figure out which one he is. Too,
also,
sometimes.
like, do you want them to continue spam attacking you?
Right, he's encouraging it. He's clearly not taking this completely seriously because he's including the hashtag. But he's also like, I'm working myself to death for the show not to suffer from quarantine. Yeah, that's why Thomas's Twitter is so engaging, I feel like, is because it's partly, but not a majority sarcastic. Like, but he's really, I believe he's angry about this, but he's expressing it in a slightly sarcastic way. That's how I describe this. But why do you feel the need to engage with this? Like,
yeah.
Also, like, the thing is, my read on this is Thomas is playing up this, like, people are like, why'd you make Chloe evil? And he's like, no, she's evil. Like, I think he's playing it up. So I think he's like kind of pretending, because he doesn't want to spoil future things.
Also, he's also trolling them, like,
and he's also trolling them. So, like, I don't know, like, sure, I do think fans, like, honestly, like me, although I'm not tweeting at Thomas, so I'm like, I think people like me, like, overestimate Chloe as a person. The show has really never presented her. Like, showing her as sympathetic is not the same thing as her being, like, a good person.
Like, Dylan is never going to be like, Chloe is such a nice person. I'd let her watch my dog. No.
Right. I mean, the appeal is that she's bad. Like, that's why she's great.
Dylan's type is like bad girl. Like, anytime there's like, we're watching the Owl House and he's like Amity, and I'm like, of course you're
it's the mean girl archetype.
I love Amity.
Yeah, well, like, Amity's hot take. Amity's better than Chloe, but we don't need to.
Hot. I mean, that's not hot. That is an extremely cold take.
Well, it's different. It's different. Chloe is was presented as like antagonistic for a while. Amity's being quickly brought into the fold. Like, but anyway, like, so I feel like he's partly not wanting to spoil stuff, but also partly just like people don't understand my characterization. This whole thing is weird, though. I don't know why this is a thing.
Also, like,
with the Chloe
when
thing.
you were tweeting at 12-year-olds, just so you know.
Yeah.
At Thomas, in any tweet he makes, like, learn who you're engaging with here. Yeah.
Like, there are us, the 20-year-olds who watch Miraculous Ladybug.
But we're not the ones tweeting you.
Like, it's like I was talking before the podcast, my coworker's small daughter watches Ladybug, and I was like, oh my god, I love Ladybug. The demographic for the show is like 5 to like 11. Like,
I mean, that's most shows we cover, 6 to 11.
Yeah, which is fine. But like it's the 13-year-olds who are tweeting at you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think this is an all-time Thomas tweet. Just involving while I'm working myself to death in order for the show
really
not to suffer from quarantine.
The crackheads.
The crackhead. No, that was better.
Crackhead.
That's up. That's maybe number one. Like that's such a good one. This is also just really good though. Like I don't know if he realized. I think he's just expressing himself. So don't he's listening. Don't try to make these tweets. Like just let it come naturally. Like, if you're feeling this way, just say it. But
just let it happen.
Yeah. He's right. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be bad mouthing the crew in any circumstance, especially these circumstances.
Never tweet the creator being rude. What's wrong with you?
They'll learn. Hopefully, but not really because older.
I mean, to be fair, there's exactly. I'm tired.
His hyperbolization though is always on point. I'm working myself to death in order for the show not to suffer. Of course, yeah, we appreciate all the efforts Thomas and the crew is doing.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yes, and you don't deserve these Chloe Stan attacks, Thomas. I didn't do it. I'm not the leader of the Justice for Chloe B hashtag. I didn't do it. Okay.
But also, just ignore the haters. Whatever.
Yeah, ignore the haters. Okay, and then quickly the second tweet. I think this came out on like the day we recorded the last one, so we missed it. But there's a preview image of a new character from the New York special, which Winnie confirmed, one of the directors. It's a black girl and
with natural hair.
Natural hair.
And we see like a fourth of her face, but it's enough to stand, right? So
it's absolutely enough to stand.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that's excited. In the New York.
But here's my thing: the caption says, "She will love you and protect you at all costs. My future fave girl, yours too."
Did you just describe Marinette? Question mark.
Question mark. Are you talking about Marinette?
Now, if we're getting another Marinette, I'm not going to complain, and they can be best friends, and I'll die.
They can be pen pals.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
I love it.
Well, is she a hero? Like, what's the in? Because there's no heroes in New York, I assume. But
not yet.
Yeah, we'll see. We don't know. We don't know when the special's coming out.
Those monks had to relocate. Yeah. They decided to go to America.
Or now Marinette as a guardian is like here.
Oh.
That's true. She could give her Miraculous.
So excited you dropped your water bottle.
Who?
I thought you were taking a drink in the middle.
I was taking a drink. Yeah.
See, you're like, oh my god, that's so great.
Oh, I had to stop taking. Okay, yeah, I had to respond to that.
I'm gonna choke on this water.
Don't make me. Dylan drowns.
Don't make me choke with these great points, Delaney. Okay, the other big thing in the Ladybug world is that they've switched the Ladybug social media from Instagram posts to Instagram stories,
which is extremely inconvenient for Delaney because I don't watch those.
April, were you following this at all?
So I did notice that. I love that they all made an announcement too. They're like, we're not doing individual posts anymore. And I was like, that's lame. I hate stories. And so I was like, okay, I'll check them out and see what's up, because you never know when you're going to be called upon to review everything. And so I was checking them out, and then I got really bothered because they're like, haha, I'm going to play a game of tic-tac-toe with Adrian. And I'm like, what? And then they're like, yeah, we're going to draw ourselves. And I was like, this is stupid. I'm not going to watch this.
Oh my god.
So you're anti the story. So my understanding is that this isn't an intentional. This is the necessity because of the current situation. This is a temporary thing where they can't do the drawings or something. Okay. So they're just writing the stories out.
I guess. I mean, you can still produce images at home.
Yeah, maybe it's because they're already strains under the current circumstances. They don't have the resources for the additional stuff. I don't know, but I think it was because of this. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that, but I think it would be more because what was fun about the post is that there was pictures and you kind of got to see them actually acting with each other in terms of the posts. And so what they've done so far is it literally just looks like someone's sitting at home on a phone and just drawing on the screen and that's it. And so one, you're all artists, do better. 2.
April is like mad.
Wow. April, the lady that runs she's like the writer, right? So it's like, I think it's just her now doing this. I think that's my guess.
I mean,
like there's no other resources.
Yeah, it's nice that they're still trying to make something happen, but it's just, I don't know, like...
Okay, April's anti. Keep watch on this, though, April.
I will. I still do, because I'm like, hey, you never know what's going to happen. But it's just like, I think the thing, again, like, that I enjoyed most about the post was, like, watching the characters kind of interact with each other. And, like, they're still doing that, but it doesn't work because, like, whenever you're watching, like, stories, it doesn't, like, go in order of who posted, like, what, when.
It's like someone's story. You see the progression of their story, right?
Yeah. So, like, you literally, like, so, like, if I posted, like, let's say I was an avid, like, poster, right? And I did stories all the time. So, like, let's say I did a story this morning and I'm eating breakfast. And then let's say that, like, I do another story and I'm eating lunch. And then let's say it's also my birthday. So then someone else posts like a happy birthday story to me and they tag me in it. And then I put like, oh, thank you so much. And I put that in my story. So what you're going to see is me having breakfast, me having lunch, me saying thank you to this person who said happy birthday. And then we go to that other person's thing, and then you see them saying happy birthday to me. So it's not like chronological. I mean, it is for the individual, but not like in terms of like Marinette posted this and she called out Alia and Alia responded and then Marinette responded to Alia. Like it's not like that. So
Okay. So April's upset about this. The stories, but the stories aren't like, they don't save them unless you tell it to.
So everything goes away after 24 hours.
Yeah, but yeah, so we might not have a record, which is a problem for covering it later. Yeah. So we'll see. The switch to the stories. Let us know what you think of these stories now. Yeah,
if you enjoy them, like, by all means, continue like watching them. And I mean, I'm going to continue watching them just in case something like happens, and then I'll screenshot and send it to Dylan and Delaney and be like, look at this.
Screenshot it, yes.
I think it's still great that, you know, under the circumstances, they're still trying to provide some type of content to like fans and everything. So I think that because like a lot of like, I guess like accounts and everything are just like, meh, we've died, but like they're still trying to do something, and so I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm not like good.
I'm surprised Zag is going full throttle on this. Still.
Yeah, like don't think that I like super duper hate it. Like I think it's, you know, like it's appropriate and it's nice.
As you can see, April's extremely passionate about Instagram.
April's passionate about the Ladybug accounts. Okay,
yes.
So yeah.
I just miss all of the fun pictures.
I know, that's sad. We'll check in on this developing story. Okay.
Back to you, Dylan.
Next, yeah, exactly. The correspondent, this Instagram correspondent. What are we talking about next podcast? So 2 things that we'd flagged before as potential ideas were top 10 episodes and best and maybe worst villains, which we found that there is a Wikia page for, so it should be not too hard. So I'm interested in doing a top 10 episodes soonish.
Okay.
I think the episodes, we could rewatch as much as you want or nothing. I think it's fine. Like, I think you could do it from memory. Probably myself, I'd make like a short list, and then ones I hadn't seen in a while, like maybe up to 5 I'd rewatch. But like that'd be the most. And a lot of the contenders, we've rewatched recently anyway.
Yeah, true.
But I'd be okay with 0 rewatch as well. So
are we doing top 10 of all time or top 10 season 3?
I think top 10 of all time.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we did this in the Justin era, Delaney. I don't remember if this was a topic, but I don't think so. There weren't enough good season 1 ones. Yeah. So
also, I don't even think there weren't even enough episodes to do it. Like.
Yeah. So how interested are we in top 10 next podcast or the podcast after? Do we need more time, or could it be in 2 weeks?
I think it could be in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think
so. Delaney still is going in.
We're not leaving our houses and doing
no,
things.
Delaney, I'm concerned about you. I'm concerned about Delaney.
I still have to work too. But
well, I have to physically go to work.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, that's great. I love you, Delaney.
Delaney
Delaney,
works
would you be
12 hours.
Oh God, would you be more comfortable with a month from now or 2 weeks from now for that 10 episodes?
I can do 2 weeks from now.
Can
Okay.
you? Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's exciting. Okay, top 10 episodes next week, and then potentially after that, best villains. We can come back to that though. Okay. Yeah, that's exciting. So just come in with the top 10 list. Don't send it to anyone. Treat all episodes on their own. The only one that stands out to me is the Origins Part 1 and 2. Probably those are their own episodes, though.
I think they stand alone enough that you could like pick one.
Yeah, the finale's stand alone enough, I would say, for sure. And
especially like season 2 finale. Like, I think.
Yeah, the season. Yeah, both finales there are standalone, and then let's do Origins standalone too. Okay. So yeah, you can rewatch as much as you want or nothing. It's fine. Just come in with a top 10 list, and then we'll figure out how we want to go through it. Do we want to say if listeners want to send in their top 10 list? I don't want to do. We could do a whole survey thing. We could do that as a separate podcast too. I don't know. If you want to send in your top 10 list, you can.
You know, I think that we should do that as a separate podcast because I think we should reveal what our top 10 episodes are, and
they
then
can disagree with us.
Yeah, and then they can either like disagree. We can have them make their own top 10 list.
I mean, we had on the survey, we had their favorite episode. We at least have that. So you don't have to say anything. It's hard. It's off season, not as much activity. When I've asked for stuff, it hasn't been as easy as I thought. That's what happens when we're in the middle of the Ladybug
I
season.
enjoyed the survey.
The survey we got 100 for that. That's good. So we could do it at some point. We'll advance for that. So okay, next 2 weeks from now, top 10 episodes. Get ready of Ladybug. Going to be exciting.
Get pumped.
Get pumped. Any final comments, Delaney or April?
I really enjoyed rewatching Feast. It's such a good episode.
Will Feast be in Delaney's top 10? Probably based on what she said.
Or will it not? Because I'm terrible.
Maybe you'll find 10 more episodes you like better when you revisit it.
I know.
Joke's on us. They're all season 1 episodes.
Oh my God, no.
Over, under 0.5 season 1 episodes in Delaney's list. Definitely under.
Under.
We'll go, under.
The Origins are great. There's the Lila episode. There's the Simon Says.
Dylan will have exactly 2.
Gamer.
Dylan will have 2 season 1 episodes in his list.
That's a high number. It's a high number. We'll see about that.
No. I'm writing these predictions. So Dylan will have 2 season 1 episodes.
I intend to rewatch Origins Part 1 and 2. That's like a big learning. I don't really think I'll consider, Simon Says is my favorite historical season 1. Maybe I'll rewatch that, but other than that, nothing else is.
Dylan, I know you're sitting on top of Stormy Weather. Don't lie.
What if we watch Stormy Weather and it's good? What about if Stormy Weather 2 is on any of our lists?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Gamer 2.0. I don't remember which any 2.0 episodes will be.
I
will be on there.
Absolutely.
2.0 was better than the first one.
Right.
One of them was good. I don't remember which one at the 3. One of them.
I think it was the second.
Was it Puppeteer 2.0? Was that the one with the stat? No, I don't. Okay. Well, there's the one with the statues. I need to. Okay, that's okay. We'll see. So, this is you'll get this type of thing next week of us trying to remember what episodes are without having rewatched all of them. That'll be fun. Okay, so that'll be 2 weeks from now. Thanks for listening, guys. Overlyanimated.com. Discord.com/overlyanimated.com/Discord for the Discord, and then patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, especially our Patreon podcast, Nicholas, aka Nickelodeon, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Beatrice, Hugh, Michael, and Needle. Let us know what you thought of this discussion. Get your comments on the top 10s ready. We will see you next time, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.